Hi, this is Leah Klein, Health and Wholeness Coach. My question for you today is, are you seeing his face? Bring to God, of course. Our verse is Psalm 17:15. As for me, I shall behold your face in righteousness. When I awake, I shall be satisfied with your likeness. So the first part of our verse is talking about, seeing God and beholding his face. And one of the examples of this from the Old Testament is Moses. And there is a verse that describes him as being, basically special in that he saw God face to face. Not literally face to face, but then that's obviously referring to when God, put him in a cleft of rock, held his, a protection over him while he passed by, and then he got a glimpse of his back, as it were. Not that God has a literal back, but it all goes back originally to the idea of God's holiness and our inability on our own to be in his presence and to be close to him. And Moses was kind of the closest that got in the Old Testament. But because of not our righteousness, but Christ's righteousness, we can be in God's presence without our inadequacy, our lack of holiness causing us to just disintegrate, which would be what normally would happen in the presence of that degree of holiness. We are able to go into his presence now because of Jesus' sacrifice and his righteousness that's been imputed to us. And so that's part of the picture and part of what we need to remember when we are seeking God is that we have a blessing of being able to be closer to him than anyone practically in the Old Testament did. Even those that were close, like David or Moses, they still had that limitation there of they were looking forward to the sacrifice that would make that possible, according to Hebrews, that hadn't happened yet at that point. So we have a great blessing, and we need to appreciate that blessing. Now, the second part, which admittedly is basically saying the same thing, because this is a parallelism, which is a common thing in the Old Testament, especially in the Psalms and Proverbs, to say something one way and then say it just a slightly different way, but basically saying the same thing. However, the choice of words this time, as shall be satisfied with your likeness. So this is reminding us that our satisfaction comes from God. And it doesn't come from necessarily the food we eat. Yes, we can be physically satisfied if we are physically hungry, but often we are using it when we're not really hungry, we really don't need it, but we're eating anyway. Or it can be TV, it can be a whole lot of worse things even than that we try to fill in and take the place of that satisfaction that we're looking for from God. And he is the only one that can really satisfy us. So I want to encourage you to ask God to show you his face and to satisfy you with his presence. And as I have mentioned before, a great way of doing that and really getting close and feeling his presence is going on a retreat. And not just one retreat, regularly going on a retreat. This is not a one and done thing. It's something that is amazing in one, and it just builds. It builds as you do them regularly. And it's like, you're going on a date. Would you expect to have a relationship if you went on one date? No, you kind of need to keep doing it. A lot of people that are married talk about doing date nights and trying, keep building the relationship instead of assuming that, oh, it's there, it will be fine. They're not spending that quality connection time. Well, that's what you need with God. And lots of times we're so distracted in our everyday life that we miss that. And we don't get as much out of our quiet times as we could if we actually could hear him better and spend more time doing it. 45 minutes, Anyway, so do consider getting that on the calendar. My next one that will be happening, group one that will be happening in Arizona, is the second weekend in November, and it will actually be up in the Pine Top, Arizona area instead. There are a limited number of people that can come on that, and I will have more of the information on that coming out as I get the brochure built so that you have information on what all is going to be going on. But it's early stages yet. We're still a few months out. And I want to wrap up our time with a song I like to use on retreats because it's very appropriate to that. And that is Open the Eyes of My Heart. And if you know it, which many of you do, feel free to sing along. If not, feel free to listen. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, 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 I want to see you. Let that be your prayer today. And I will see you next week with another verse. See you then.